There is a day that comes once a year that most of the world treats like a personal holiday. The phone buzzes with notifications. Social media walls fill up with well wishes from people we barely talk to. There is an expectation of cake, of parties, of noise, and of being the center of attention. But for some people, this day feels different. For some, a birthday is not a day of excitement, it is a day of quiet reflection. Or perhaps, it is just another Tuesday. You might be the kind of person who hides their birth date on social media because you don't want the artificial attention. You might be the person who treats their birthday like a normal day, going to work, drinking coffee, and perhaps reading a book in silence. When people ask, "What are you doing for your big day?" you simply smile and say, "Nothing special." Society often judges this. People say, "Oh, don't be a Grinch," or "Why are you so sad?" They assume that if you aren't celebrating, you must be depressed, lonely, or getting old and bitter. But let me tell you something profound today. Choosing not to celebrate a birthday is rarely about sadness. It is often about depth. People who step back from the birthday fanfare often possess a rare and powerful mindset. They have moved beyond the need for external validation. They have stopped measuring their life in years and started measuring it in moments. They have realized that the celebration of life shouldn't be confined to a 24-hour window once a year, it should be a quiet, continuous state of being. Today, we are going to explore the hidden psychology and spirituality of the birthday quiet ones. We are going to uncover the 3 rare traits that define this mindset. By the end of this message, you will understand that stepping out of the spotlight is not an act of hiding, it is an act of authentic living. Trait number 1, the rejection of performative happiness. The first and most defining trait of people who don't celebrate birthdays is a low tolerance for performance. We live in a culture that is obsessed with showing happiness rather than feeling it. Birthdays have become the ultimate stage for this performance. You are expected to look happy, to act surprised, to post the photos of the dinner, to count the likes on the post. It is a ritual of, "Look at me. I am loved. I am important." But for you? This feels hollow. You are a person who values authenticity above all else. You crave real connections, not mandated ones. When your phone blows up with messages from people who haven't checked on you in 364 days, it doesn't make you feel loved. It makes you feel skeptical. You wonder, where were you when I was struggling last month? Where were you when I needed a friend on a random Wednesday? You realize that a birthday wish is often the lowest form of effort. It is easy to type HBD on a screen. It is hard to show up when it matters. Because you value deep, consistent connection, the superficial nature of birthday attention drains you. It feels fake. And because you are allergic to fake energy, you prefer to opt out. You would rather have a quiet dinner with one person who truly knows your soul than a party with 50 people who only know your name. You would rather receive a random text on a Tuesday that says, "I was thinking about you," than 100 obligatory messages on your birthday. This mindset shows that you have graduated from the ego's need for applause. You don't need a special day to prove you matter. You know you matter. You validate yourself. And you prefer your love to be quiet, constant, and real, rather than loud, sporadic, and performed. Trait number 2, the appreciation of the now over the milestone. The second trait is a different relationship with time. Most people live their lives looking forward to milestones. I'll be happy when it's the weekend. I'll be happy when it's my birthday. I'll be happy when I retire. They segment their joy. They treat their birthday as a checkpoint to assess their life. Am I successful? Am I married? Do I have enough money? This creates immense pressure. Birthdays often bring an existential crisis, because people measure themselves against where they thought they would be. But you have learned to live in the now. You understand that a birthday is just a date on a calendar. The earth has circled the sun one more time. It is a biological fact, not a spiritual judgment. You don't save your joy for a specific date. You find joy in the small things every single day. The taste of your morning tea. The feeling of sun on your skin. The laughter of a loved one. The peace of a quiet evening. Because you celebrate the process of living, you don't feel the desperate need to celebrate the anniversary of living. You are already celebrating. You are celebrating by being present. You are celebrating by being kind. You are celebrating by surviving the hard days and cherishing the good ones. People with this mindset often have a deep spiritual grounding. They understand that life is not a linear climb up a ladder, it is a circle. It is a cycle. Every day is a new birth. Every morning you wake up is a miracle. Why wait 365 days to acknowledge the miracle of your breath? You treat every day with the reverence that others reserve for holidays. And because your daily life is rich with gratitude, the big day loses its grip on you. You don't need the fireworks because you have found the steady flame. Trait number 3, the strength of humility. The third trait found in those who shy away from birthday celebrations is profound humility. In a world that shouts, "Look at me," humility whispers, "I am enough." Humility is not about thinking less of yourself, it is about thinking of yourself less. It is the release of the ego's constant demand to be the main character. When you celebrate a birthday in the traditional way, you are essentially asking the world to pause and revolve around you. For some, this is fun. But for you, it feels uncomfortable. Not because you don't think you are worthy, but because you understand that you are part of a much larger whole. You see yourself as a thread in the tapestry, not the entire picture. You prefer to be the observer rather than the spectacle. You prefer to give rather than to receive. You are likely the person who remembers everyone else's birthday. You are the one who buys the thoughtful gifts. You are the one who makes others feel special. But when the spotlight turns to you, you gently deflect it. This is often because you carry the wisdom of service. Your joy comes from lifting others up, not from being lifted up on a pedestal. There is a quiet dignity in this. It takes a very strong sense of self to be okay with being invisible for a day. It takes a grounded spirit to say, "I don't need the world to clap for me to know that I did a good job this year." People with this mindset are often the rocks of their families and communities. They are steady. They are consistent. They don't need the high of being the birthday king or birthday queen, because they are comfortable in their own skin every other day of the year. The spiritual perspective, the old soul. Now, let's look at this through a spiritual lens. Why do some souls feel a natural aversion to the birthday rituals? It is often because you are an old soul. Old souls have lived many times. They have been through the cycle of birth and death enough to know that age is just a number. The soul is ageless. The spirit is eternal. When you are an old soul, the marking of physical years feels trivial. I am 40. I am 60. I am 80. These numbers feel like costumes you are wearing. Inside, you feel ancient and timeless all at once. The fanfare of a birthday feels young to you. It feels like a game for children. And while you can appreciate the joy it brings to others, you feel like you have outgrown the need for the toys. You are more interested in growth than in aging. You celebrate your spiritual birthdays. You celebrate the day you overcame a trauma. You celebrate the day you finally learned to love yourself. You celebrate the moments of breakthrough and awakening. Those are your real milestones. A biological birthday simply marks the day your body entered the world. But a spiritual birthday marks the day your soul truly woke up. And for you, that awakening is the only thing worth throwing a party for. The shadow side, addressing the pain. However, we must also address the shadow side with compassion. Sometimes, the reluctance to celebrate comes from a place of hidden pain. Perhaps you had birthdays in the past that were forgotten. Perhaps you grew up in a home where you weren't celebrated, and so you learned to expect nothing so that you wouldn't be disappointed. If this is your story, I want you to know that your reaction is a valid protection mechanism. It makes sense. If no one made a fuss about you when you were little, it feels unsafe to ask for a fuss now. You learn to make yourself small so that the silence wouldn't hurt so much. But even in this pain, there is a rare strength. You learned self-reliance. You learned how to be okay when the world forgot you. You learned how to find peace in solitude. You learned that your worth is not dependent on how many cards are on the mantelpiece. You survived the disappointment, and you transmuted it into independence. But now, as an adult, you have a choice. You don't skip birthdays because you have to, you skip them because you choose to. You have taken the power back. You have decided that if the world isn't going to celebrate you the right way, you won't play the game at all. And there is a fierce, quiet power in that decision. The reframe, celebrating in spirit. So, if you are one of the quiet ones, one of the people who lets the date pass without a sound, do not let anyone tell you that you are doing it wrong. You are celebrating. You are just celebrating differently. You are celebrating inwardly. You are celebrating with presence. Perhaps your celebration looks like taking a long walk in nature. Perhaps it looks like cooking your favorite meal and eating it slowly. Perhaps it looks like meditating and thanking the universe for another year of breath. This is a sacred celebration. It is between you and your Creator. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need likes. It needs only your awareness. In a noisy world, your quietness is a form of resistance. It is a statement that says, my life is not a performance. My joy is not a commodity. My worth is inherent. You are reclaiming the sanctity of your own existence. You are taking the day back from the greeting card companies and the social expectations, and you are returning it to its original purpose, gratitude. Now let's talk about the solution, how to honor your day your way. So, when your next birthday rolls around, how should you handle it? First, release the guilt. You do not owe anyone a party. You do not owe anyone a post. This is the one day that is truly yours, do with it what you want. Second, set boundaries. If people ask what you are doing, be honest. I'm having a quiet day. I'm reflecting. Normalize the idea that rest is a form of celebration. Third, find your own ritual. Maybe you write a letter to your future self. Maybe you light a candle. Maybe you donate to a cause you care about. Do something that feeds your soul, not your ego. And finally, remember that every day you are alive is a victory. You have survived 100% of your bad days. You have grown, learned, and evolved. You are a miracle in motion. You don't need a cake to prove that, you just need to look in the mirror and smile at the person looking back. The final ritual. If this message resonated with your spirit today, if you felt a sense of relief knowing that your desire for quiet is not sadness but depth, then I invite you to make a powerful declaration. I want you to signal to the universe that you accept your life, on your terms. Close your eyes for just a second. Place your hand over your heart. Feel the beat, the constant, steady rhythm of your existence. And silently say, I celebrate my life in every moment. I am grateful for my journey. I am enough. And to seal this intention, go to the comments below and write these simple words. I honor my quiet path. Let those words be your permission slip to step off the stage and simply enjoy the show. Let them be the moment you stop performing happiness and start living it. You are deep. You are real. And you are exactly where you are meant to be. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today. Happy birthday, whenever it is, and happy Tuesday, happy Wednesday, happy every single day you breathe. Until next time, find your peace.